knowing that you're not going through it alone, you know, that you can have something to fall back on.
People are just so used to seeing overnight success stories online.
People wake up with different intentions every day. God's been the same from the beginning of time to forever. Even though you have free will, it's definitely a lot. It is tempting. Everything is tempting. I started my business when I was 15. I registered as a DBA, like doing business as my mom's LLC. She already had a business, you know, like you can't get that until you're 18. So I did that just to cover myself legally and all the work that I was putting out. I started designing when I was like 12, and I started drawing in like elementary.
Oh, wow.
So I always loved being like creative. Like I love the art aspect of, you know, just the creative concept of designing. And like I was really like good on paper, but I was like, I can't sell this right now. Like I have to be able to like make it digital because everything in the world is being digitalized now. So I'm like, man, if I can find a way to put this talent over here, I can do whatever I want from wherever. Yeah. So I ended up doing that. My dad, he's really good at drawing on paper. My mom is real good at digital, everything. So I'm like, I was blessed with those two. Yeah. And I was like, I gotta take it from here. It's actually crazy. I was playing 2K like every day. I wasn't doing no type 2K. Of work, bro. I wasn't doing any type of work at all. Like, I wasn't worried about a career. I was like, I'll just go to school or something like everybody else. But then my dad walked in one day. He was like, bro, my partner up here, he got a application up here for Chick-fil-A, or you can start your business with him. I was like, man, bro, I'm not going to no Chick-fil-A, bro. I'm gonna just go ahead and start the business. I was like, came up with a random name. We went over a business plan, the structure. I'm in 10th grade, so I'm not really stressing it at the time, but I'm like taking it serious because it was either one choice or the other. But I had already hit Legend on 2K, so I was like, all right.
Dang, you were good at 2K, man. Legend is like the highest, by the way. Legend,
bro, we were wagering, bro, all the time. Like, ante up. Bro, I was spending so much on VC. I don't even know where I got that money from. I think it was like allowance or something, or Christmases, bro. Yeah, it was crazy. But that's where I pretty much started with that, you know, 15. I made it official, and then of course turned 18. As soon as I turned 18, we got the LLC, and I changed the name a few times in the process, of course. But you know, I ended up with what I have today. I started with J4 Studios, just because my name starts with a J, and I was born in 2004. 4 is actually my favorite number, so I was like, I need something. I need to start with something. Of course, So I was doing it individually, bro. I was doing it for a while, maybe 2 years. So by the time I was 17, that's when I started working with rappers and stuff like that. Like I started getting myself into certain rooms. Like that's like one of the biggest things I'll say, like a biggest like key factor in a role to play in where I'm at now is being able to get into those rooms with people that like of value. Cause like when I'm putting myself in front of these people, what can I say to them? Like, what is going to make me stand out from the thousands of other people reaching out to them all the time? Of course, yeah. I'm like, bro, I can make cover art, you know, I can do this, I can do that. But, like, okay, what else? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, sitting in front of those people, that's one thing I've noticed about rich people, bro. They will buy and feed into whatever feeds their ego. Whatever makes them look better, they're going all in for it. Because at the end of the day, these labels and stuff with these rappers, that's their main goal is to make their product look better so it can make them all more money in the end, in the, like, you know, 360 for the whole team. So I'm like, you know.
So how was it that you got into those rooms? Because you say at 15 you started, or 12. That's such a young age. At 12, bro, I don't know. I was
drawing on my phone. Bro, I had an Android. I was drawing on my phone with my finger, bro. I was making cartoons for people. And it's $5 here, $5 there. Dang. I was like, bro, I can do this. I was real focused like this, bro, every day, locked in. Like, you know, normal 12-year-olds are probably playing the game or outside. But I started playing the game way later because I was like, high school started making me get lazy. I was like, bro, I'm not trying to do this, bro. Bro, mom, can I just get my GED so I can leave, bro? I don't need this, bro. Like, like, bro, nah. So, you know, I finished it for my parents. My dad was real, like, heavy on that, like, well, mindset. He was more heavy on mindset, and my mom was more heavy on the actual work itself. So, like, having those, like, two key factors in my life was, like, the biggest roles I can, like, have before any type of mentors or whatever. But my mom, she's actually my manager, so it's, like, it works out, like, the best way, because I know she's going to want whatever is, like, at my best interest in whatever I do. So it's, like, you know, she handles all my budgets, meetings, business opportunities, events to network, because I got to network, bro. Like, that, she stresses to me that the most, I have to network. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to, like, you could be the best designer in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
100%.
No.
I feel like a lot of people say don't work with family, but like who else are you gonna trust off the jump?
Right, I got one mother. That's it.
Yeah,
I could see if I was working with like a cousin. I got plenty of those, and they're just gonna be like they're around the same age as me. But not to say that knock down any type of family business or whatever. But she doesn't treat me like a son when we're doing business. She's like, you got to do this. Like you got, but this is a lot easier taking it from my mom. She's been telling me what to do forever. So it's like, you know, I would rather hear it, make a plan, and execute. Yeah. But to answer exactly what you asked me, like how am I getting into those rooms? It's like knowing somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So for a while, I was actually like going through these famous people's followers, and I'll go and see who has the least followers, whoever's the most accessible, build a relationship with them, and work my way up.
Oh. Wow.
If I couldn't get to the person exactly, I would find a way through the loophole. You know, I would comment on their videos, I would join their TikTok lives, the Instagram lives. I'll be in the comments, and they'll be like, oh yeah, just DM me afterwards or whatever. You know, most of them just say that and then they forget. So I had to find a way to make it like visible to the public and to the artists too. So what I did was I'll make different posts too. I'll have my like followers tag them under the comments and stuff. You know, sometimes that works, but ultimately I would make one reach out message for them in my notes, and I'll just copy and paste all of them, like just a straight day of trying to get like out to those different people. Just the same message. I was like, yo, I'm a 16-year-old designer from Jacksonville, Florida. You know, I got this and this going on. You know, I worked with this dude previously. How can I, you know, work with you in the future? Like, and then even if not, then, you know, it'll come. And I'll say that in the message, like humbly, like, you know, if this is not where we're supposed to be, this is not the time we're supposed to meet, I'll let God do the rest. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I usually, like, it's a communication thing. Like I try to be consistent with it. Like if I do some work, say I'm designing for a week straight, and I'm trying to reach out to these different celebrities and these different influencers, I'm like, I do that and I'm consistent with it. But then I like stop for a minute. I'm like, I need a break. Like I can't, like that whole I can't mindset is what my dad broke me out of. Like being that I would have to do it or it wouldn't work because there's nobody else gonna do it for me. Yeah, like if somebody else reaches out, they're gonna go with them. Of course. Like it's a lot better like confronting these people one on one if I can get into those doors. So working with different artists, you never know. That's why I'm like kind to everyone. I'm willing to network with everyone because you never know. Somebody can be in a different crazy position in 24 hours. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. I love how you say that your dad was a big influence because especially nowadays, you don't really see that nowadays in like families, and I feel like that's so almost like you just love to see something like that. Your dad and mom pushing you to be and like supporting you. Like a lot of people that like have like a dream like that, like I'm gonna do like online stuff. They're like they just want what's best for you. So the fact that your parents were supportive, I think, has kind of pushed you to be like where you're at today and like almost motivated you to keep doing that. Yeah,
my dad was heavy on discipline, bro. Like I didn't even get whoopings. He made me do workouts for consequences. I'm like, bro. He's like, bro. Like he's like 10-minute plank right now. Take this bottle of apple juice, and just sit there until your arms burn. They was about to fall off, bro. I'm over there. That's making me cry by itself. I'm like, bro, like I'd rather just take the whooping at this point, bro. But he was like, nah, bro, it's a mental thing. Like he would be talking to me while I'm suffering. I'm not trying to hear that, but like at the same time, it's character development, you know. Yeah. So you know, I'm definitely appreciative of that along the way. But being that both my parents were already entrepreneurs, it definitely helped me a lot because I'm like, I don't have to go through the whole. I want to do this online stuff, and they're like, they have to go with them like, oh, this is not profitable. Back in my day, we had to just do the books and go to college, and so they were more lenient on that idea. But so my mom, she was definitely more heavy on that side with handling the business like aspect of it. You know, she does business structure for a living already, so it already like helped me plan my structuring, my budgeting, my meetings, my networking, traveling, stuff like that. You know, she would have that stuff in play already. So, but the only thing with her, she wouldn't just give it to me. So like she would make me go through step by step. How are you going to do this? Okay, how are you going to do this? Or what's your ideas on this? And even if you have those ideas, how are you going to execute on those ideas? Where who are you going to tell these ideas to? Yeah. You know, like she just emphasized the whole like process of just securing your business, because any millionaire could see what you got going on and buy your business and make you work for them if you don't have an LLC, trademark, all that good stuff. I just was learning about all that. And I was just learning about write-offs too. I was like, bro, I could have been doing this. Yeah. She was like, I'll try to tell you. You just wanted to spend money here, here, and here. You might as well spend it the right way. I'm like, all right, bro.
I find it crazy how, like, this whole mantra of, like, discipline over motivation and all. It's kind of getting famous more recently, 2020, 2021, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
And 5 now. But I feel like your parents have been putting that in place in you since like you were being raised.
Yeah, my dad used to make me recite the morals of being a good man at like 3.
Yeah,
to like
crazy.
10. Yeah, bro. I was like finally like getting like as soon as I started learning how to speak, he started teaching me about, you know, God and, you know, morals, installing that into me early so that way when I'm, you know, get to a point it's stuck with me.
Yeah. Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I had to go through a few different character development stages along the process, of course. Going through that stress mentally of running the business, I thought it was just like online and make it seem sweet, like, dang, this dude just woke up to 100K, he's driving a Urus. It's not like that sweet, bro. They go through so much hours of hard grinding time behind the scenes, and it took for me to have to go through that myself to understand like what like the actual value of it. So when I started buying my own stuff, like they had me like as soon as I started the business, it was like, well, you know, this is up to you if you want to succeed or not. I mean, if you want school clothes this year, you'll do it. So I was like, all right. I mean, I can't wear the same clothes as last year.
Yeah.
You know, I always want the newest backpack, the newest shoes, the whatever, all the stuff the kids want or like. And it was like, bro, you gotta grind. Like that was straight like that. Even though they could have easily just here. Yeah. It was like, bro, we gave you the blueprint. If you don't know what to do with this by now, you just don't. It's not for you. Wow. So I was like, bro, I'm not accepting anything else. I'm not accepting no for answer. I'm not, you know, gonna just sit there and be stressed out. I'd rather use that energy from stress and use it towards achieving those goals. You know, converting energy. You know, you can't destroy it, but you can, you know, change.
Yeah. And did you think this way at 15 or?
Pretty much, bro. Like my dad, he's real like I keep referring back to my dad because he had a strong part to play on that mentally. Yeah. So, yeah, that mentality. He's actually like a boxer, a nutritionist. You know, he's a gym over in Regency, called Revive Private Training Studio. Yeah, so it's always been on me about my health and, you know, other kids eating McDonald's growing up. He was never letting me do that. Yeah. He was just kind of like installing that idea into me early. So a lot of that stuff and morals that I stuck with along the way got installed to me early. So any other mistake I made outside of that was off my own free will. Like, you know, they told me the right stuff to do. Yeah. So any mistakes I had to make, you know, they sat back, they let me make them. And then at the end of the day, I bounce back, get back on track, get right back to it.
And what's the biggest lesson that you've learned so far, being so young, kind of doing this since such a young age? What's kind of like the biggest lesson that you've learned in business where it's either kind of made you think like, oh, I'm definitely not doing that again, or something that's kind of almost like a character development in your entrepreneurship life?
Never mix a business and personal, bro. That was my biggest lesson. Like, trying to go into business with your friends is not a bad idea, you know, if y'all have on the same understanding. But being young and doing that, even being older and doing that, people tend to get emotions mixed with business a lot of the times. They feel obligated, you know, to a lot of the things that you have, or they feel like, you know, they should reap the benefits off the success for work they haven't put in. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, it's like I can give you the blueprint. I can tell you exactly what I've done, and you can even go on the journey with me. But if you choose not to, you know, lock in and, you know, stay in the office and grind me all those hours, like, of course we post it on social media, it looks great, but if you're not actually behind the scenes, like trying to lock in with me, be consistent, post all the time, make these connections, go to Atlanta, go to Miami, go to Texas, you know, Dallas, to make these connections and network, basically putting in the grind and the time behind the actual like work itself. If they're not there doing that with me, it's like they're just kind of, you know, leeching. And, you know, you deal with a lot of that on the come up, especially, you know, trying to be in the business young. You know, it's a lot of other people that won't understand that mindset as early as you do. So it's like trying to bring them along with you, understanding that you just can't, you know, just can't. They got to meet you up here. And if they're right here, you got to close the gap. And the only way to close that is if you come here or if they go there. So it's like, bro, I'm not going back down.
I think it's almost rare for like now that I like talk to more people, I guess, and then I kind of get out there and talk to people like you. Yeah. I think I started realizing how rare it really is to have friends like almost with the same ideas and kind of the same idea of where they want to be at a certain point in time. Like, I feel like us three, we've only been able to do this because we kind of had the same kind of blueprint of where we wanted to be, you know, in a set time or something like that. So I definitely see that.
Yeah, it's all about timing, you know, place, you know, just putting in that work ethic. Like, you know, that's really what it is, the work ethic. Because, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, but if you're not putting the work behind it, it's kind of hard for it to go anywhere, become lucrative, become some 6-figure business that you can tell stories on for generations. Like, all that stuff plays a part in it. So being that y'all have that foundation, it's that foundation. Like, whatever the business is built off of, that's what it's going to lean on for the whole entire time of the business. If it crashes or it gets sold, whatever it's built off of, you know, if it's built on loyalty, you know, same mindsets, and consistency, that's what it's going to thrive off of. So, you know, that's I'm a firm believer in that. You know, the foundation is the key to everything. Yeah. You know, when you got the blueprint and you act on it, how can you lose?
Yeah, that's.
I relate to you. I feel like I relate to you so much on the way you were raised, because my father wasn't one to talk much, but just in the way he lived, in the way he raised us, like, it would annoy me when I was younger. Like, this man was never. You will never hear "let's do that later" out of his mouth. Right. Like, if it's 100 bags of 100 pounds of cement just showed up at the house, I'd be like, no, I'm about to get to it. He would just be petty. Like, he wouldn't say anything. He'll just start unloading it by himself. Like, he never leaves anything for later. And he was just so disciplined with always waking up early, getting everything done that needs to get done early, working hard constantly. Working hard is never the wrong answer, and he just showed that. I feel like the way he lived, he just always showed that to me. I just feel like I relate so much to you on that part right there.
That plays a big part, you know, as kids, or no, not even as kids, as parents. Yeah, a lot of parents don't realize how much we actually pay attention to what they do. So being that he wasn't actually verbal with you and just showed you what to do, like you had a clear example of what exactly to do. Yeah. So that definitely plays a part in it, you know, just being able to have that in the household. And I understand a lot of people aren't as fortunate to have that. My parents weren't together before I was even born, but they made sure that they co-parented and tag team on making the best out of whatever the situation was at the moment. Wow. So you know, not all parents, not all people can, you know, have parents that are married together or that even want to have that mindset on just wanting to thrive and be successful in any aspect outside of college. Yeah. So being that wasn't forced on me, I'm blessed for that, because I wasn't going to go either way. But I'm just glad that that we were able to compromise and that they understood the vision and trusted me to act on it.
Yeah. So in terms of like your business, you specialize in graphic design? Or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I started with. That's what I used to get myself into other doors for other businesses and other relationships and networking. I would use graphic design because art is like, I'm a fan of all types of art, all forms of art, you know, making music, actual physical art, like, you know, as far as painting and stuff like that, and writing. I'm a fan of writing. I like to write too. That's awesome. Just like storytelling and stuff like that. Like all types of art, all these creatives, they all have different forms of art with the same goals or like the same aspects of like the creative aspect of like just being able to just convey the ideas from their mind and make it a reality. That's the best thing about art for me. So yeah, I started with graphic designing as my first business, and what I kind of lean on to use to push me and leverage me in the different doors and build these different relationships with these people that, you know, weren't or don't have that opportunity to display a certain amount of creativity that I feel like I can bring. So that's what I kind of use as my selling points. Like, you know, I'm guaranteed that you're going to like this after we finish. So you don't even have to send the 50% deposit beforehand. That's how I used to do it. I was like, I know you're going to like this. Like, I know you're going to like it. Oh, wow. You come to me with this idea, you draw this sketch on paper, and I make it crazy, 3D, realistic, detailed. There's no way you're going to turn it down. So I'm like, that's when I started doing that individually. But I had a problem that really isn't a problem. But it was for me being like a single artist was having too much clientele. So I'm like, I can't, like, it's 30 people. I got to satisfy 30 people a week or more by myself. Yeah. And that was the point that I wanted to be at. I was like, I mean, I can't complain. My goal was to eat. I can't complain when too much is on my plate. Of course, yeah. But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, bro, I'm full. I'm stuffed now. Like, but so that's when I came up with the idea to make the design agency. So I was like, I called it Definity Designs and Productions. I had to actually like pray about the name because I was like so confused on that business startup where you have all the ideas and no way to execute on them. Yeah. Where you feel stuck. I was in that stage, so I prayed about it and I got an answer about 15 minutes later. And then that's when I just thought about the word definity. And I was like, we are the definition of infinite creativity.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So
I see you mentioning God a lot. What do you believe?
It's a very strong key factor in, like, I feel like everything that I've done. So I am Christian, and you know, I got a Last Supper right here on my ring.
Yeah,
I had it made for me. Yeah, so it's definitely a strong factor in my life, and my parents usually used it to kind of mold my morals and teach me right from wrong. And my grandfather, my mom's dad, he's a pastor too, so it kind of helped with the whole spiritual counseling and, you know, just helping me understand more of what it really is about. I don't force beliefs on others. I just kind of accept what I believe for what I believe and run with it, because I mean, it's working. So there's no way I can't turn to anything else. You know, I've been through some crazy stuff, and just, you know, God being by my side through all of that specifically makes it a lot. I wouldn't say it makes it like nothing, but it makes it easier. Knowing that you're not going through it alone, you know, that you can have something to fall back on, and, you know, rely on, talk to all the time, because people wake up with different intentions every day, but, you know, God's been the same from the beginning of time for forever. So that's kind of what I rely on. That's what I believe in. And, you know, I feel like if I ask him for something, he doesn't give it to me, but he'll give me the opportunity to get that.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know you too much, but I admire that in you already from the beginning of the conversation, like before the cameras. Thank God this, and then you mentioned I prayed about this, and then thank God this. No, I think it's almost foolish to just look at the world and then look at everything around you and not believe that there's a God out there.
Exactly. Not like some it's got to be some higher entity, like somewhere out there. Like, there's no way that you can think that there's a world with only evil and no good. It's an equal and opposite balance for everything that exists. Yeah. So that's why I felt like I had to ask him for the name Definity, because there's no better artist.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That's the artist of artists.
Yeah, you created the world 7 days, and all the space, all the time. He put everything in order. Created all these animals, the whole human structure. I'm like, bro, you're the greatest artist of all time, literally, before time. So I'm like, there's no better way to go about this than to build my foundation off of my belief. And with him at the foundation of everything that I do, I feel like, you know, seeking first the kingdom of God, you can do whatever. I feel like it's just endless opportunities. It makes the impossible possible.
I feel like a lot of young people struggle with that nowadays because they say God comes first, but they almost treat it as like a thing where I go to church, all right, and then I do everything that I need to do. I think it should be more of God comes in everything that I do, whether it's going to church, whether it's going to the gym, or in my business. Right. Exactly. I'm gonna present morals that come from the one who makes morals in everything you do. So I really admire that.
Having that. I say it's more so, even if you're not having that strong relationship with him, just having somebody in your life that's, you know, accountable. Like, I say that to say, as far as somebody that's accountable, somebody that you will listen to. If you don't have anybody that'll make you stop and be like, hey, maybe I'm doing too much, or maybe I might need to listen to them on this. Maybe I need to slow down. Maybe I need to stop hanging with this group of people, or maybe I need to stop speaking with this type of language, or anything, or or being under the influence all the time. Maybe I need to stop. If there's nobody in your life that can tell you that, you know, can hold you accountable for everything that you do outside of God, you know, because we can't see him, but, you know, we just rely off the belief that he's there. You know, you can feel it, whatever, but having that person physically being able face to face, making you feel that I need to change, I need to stop, I need to listen, because, you know, listening will get you a lot farther than trying to tell everybody what to do all the time, and the whole time you're just a hypocrite to your own lessons. So you might want to just, like, you know, not lean off your own understanding, but to be willing to expand your mind and not be so simple-minded, thinking in a box. Pretty much, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, I think that's a very big thing with us, because, like I was mentioning to you before, we clash kind of ideas a lot between us three. So kind of relying on God, because, you know, we're all very firm believers. Right. So that's almost kind of like enforce kind of like us being together. It's kind of like God's what really like is the center of this. And, you know, we try to glorify him in everything that we do.
Yeah, that's good.
And us kind of just being 4 men of God that are working together, kind of just makes it better to work with and almost easier to work with. You know, the Bible also talks about working with men of God. Like, try not to do business with, because you never know people, you know? People, like you said, people one day will be good, the next day, you never know.
Wake up with different intentions every day, bro.
Exactly.
I feel like it sets a standard, you know? There may be like a strife or we're arguing with each other or whatever, but then there's an answer right there. There's one, you know, none of us are over that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, just having God in your life, you know, with the morals aspect, you know, it teaches you not to hold grudges, you know, not to always speak recklessly, because there's some stuff you just can't take back.
Yeah.
So, and then there's some stuff that you can say to people that'll end up leading to your own demise. Like, you know, like, you just talking crazy to everybody. You can't think everybody's just going, oh, that's just Jayso, you know, that's just them, whatever. No, there's people out there that are really, like, that's really been through a lot. You never know when you walk in public. There's people that are going through things that you just don't have any idea of. So saying the wrong thing to them could trigger them in your own life. Yeah. So it's like, be mindful of everything that you do, everything that you say, and all decisions that you make, and the company that you keep. For one, that's like the most important thing. That's why I kind of surround myself with people that are doing better than me, or that have the same mindset and goals and aspirations. Even if we don't have the same visions, we have the same, not same, but similar morals and, you know, just mindset on certain things. Like, it's really what it is. It's all mental, I'll say.
Is there a time where that's kind of clashed with like some work you're about to do and then your morals, and you just kind of have that conviction and you have to make a decision?
Yeah, you have to make a decision all the time. It's like, people think you just, you know, you go to church, you're a Christian, boom. Christian, the word Christian means to be Christ-like in itself. So you kind of go into every decision just thinking, what would Christ do? Or what would Jesus do in this situation? And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I don't think about that all the time. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just, you know, be in the middle of a meeting and be like, dang, Jesus. Like, something but either beforehand, I'll try to think about that, what I'm about to go in and what I'm about to go in and say, and what I'm about to go in and do. Because I'm like, because he can steer things too. He could talk to them. You won't even know. He'll be the influence to what they say to you. And you won't even know, because he can work through anybody. He can speak through anybody, even the most craziest of felons or most criminals. Like, he can do whatever through anybody. He can use anybody. So it's like, I don't put anything past anybody. I don't, you know, I don't judge anybody either by, you know, how they look or how they speak. Because, like I said, he can be speaking through anybody. It can be somebody that has nothing to do with your goals or aspirations, but he's using them to speak life into you and through you, like warning you about certain things that you would have never even thought of, or you would have looked over because of who was telling it to you instead of the message itself. Yeah. Like, that's why I kind of like think farther on that. Like, if somebody's telling me, hey, you shouldn't go hang out with this group of people. If my mom is telling me, don't hang out with this group of people, and I'm like, bro, mom, like, you're doing too much. But my homeboy, he's like, bro, don't hang out with them, bro. We don't mess with them. And I'm like, all right, bro, like, we're not going to do that. But it's the same message. It's who's relaying the message. It's like, that's what I'm normally paying attention to. Or I try to, like, defer from my feelings. Like, when you take emotions out of a lot of stuff, it gives you clarity on life. Because, like, you know, emotions cloud your thoughts. And that's just spiritual warfare in itself, you know. It's just coming to the conclusion that, you know, you're not here to do a lot of the things for yourself, more so for God's will. Even though you have free will, it's definitely a lot. It is tempting. Everything is tempting. You tempted, like, all the time, every day. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I don't think of it Christianity as a religion. I think of it more so as a way of life. Yeah. Because I'm like, you got to wake up and choose God every day. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, it's not a one-time thing, one-time free trial or lifetime subscription. Like, you gotta really get up and get out there and choose Him over yourself, or choose Him over your sin, or like over your flesh, which is crazy hard. My biggest problem that I had with my relationship with Him was trusting Him, because I'm so used to doing everything by myself. I'm like, bro, I'll just do it. Like, I can do it right here. Like, I can just call this person, it'll be done. But, like, not knowing that I'm not the head of anything. It's whatever He says goes. So I'm like, all right, may your will be done, and then it ends up in my favor or better. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, it's not so bad. Like, I understand God is not a genie. You know, He works in some ways that I can't understand. I probably won't ever understand, but I know that if it's from Him, it's for the best. So that's kind of what I try to think about. Just not leaning on my own understanding is kind of how I go about those type of things.
Yeah, I was just a little intrigued there, because I feel like in your field you run into that all the time, especially with trying to get with more and more famous people and getting to these rooms. A lot of times you're going to have to, like, be very mindful of what you allow to influence you when you're getting into these places.
Right.
So.
Sometimes I'll even have to pray over myself, like, cover me before I enter this building. I know it's a lot of things, a lot of entities in here that could influence me in any way possible. And I've always stuck to the morals of just, I never drink, I never smoke, I've never even tried it. Like, I've been around people that do it, and, I don't judge them, but I have my own morals. I've seen things that messed up people that participate in those activities when I was younger at an early age. So I feel like God exposed me to more brutal things at an early age so that I kind of understand. Because he knows my mindset is not to sit there or cry about it and run from it. I'm going to look at it, acknowledge it, and observe what's really going on. What's the cause of this? Like, they're doing this, but why are they doing this? Oh, it's because of the alcohol. Oh, it's because of the drugs, the weed, whatever. And it's like, it's crazy. I'm like watching these people be influenced by these, different things. They become addicted, whatever. I'm like, I would never want to live that lifestyle. And I definitely want to be that person to influence that over my younger siblings, my younger cousins, even kids in the future. Like, I want them to know that, okay, he said this and he stuck to it. Like, everybody used to say that in high school. Oh, you're going to give into it eventually. You're going to want to just smoke, and then you're just going to want to drink. You're going to want to try it. I'm like, bro, that makes me even more, like, dedicated to never do it.
Yeah. It's more of a reason not to try it.
That's one thing. I don't believe in peer pressure. I never have. Like, I feel like that's a mindset thing. You have to be mentally strong enough. And I feel like, with the armor of God, you can get through that. So I had that early. Like I said, my grandfather, he's a pastor, and he had some type of like holy like oil, like he just like rubbed it on me when I was like first born, like on my forehead or something. It felt like Lion King or something. I was like, they was telling me about it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, knowing that you're protected by God from the start, because a lot of people are like, everybody's born into sin, but there's a lot of generational curses and generational spirits that leech on to people as soon as they're born to the day they die. And some of those like curses are never broken, and it's generational curses too that just people tend to like become a product of their environment. But I'd rather make an environmental change in the product itself, which is me. I'm the product. My parents, they came together, they made me. I'm here. I'm the product. I can make a difference in my environment, and the people around me and the peers, the people I surround myself with, the way that I carry myself, the way that I choose to speak. It's a lot. It's so many different things like that can play a role in that. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely important. So, like I said, God is a big key factor in all of that.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot about how you kind of seen things, and I feel like God's almost kind of shown you. Like with me, like I related with that a lot because I didn't really grow up I didn't have a Christian background, no nothing. Right. Like I had family that drunk a lot, and I kind of seen kind of what not to do. So it's almost kind of like made me better in an aspect because I know a lot of people have grown up with a good example,
right?
And they think that they're like pressure, like I have to be so good, but I've seen like the bad example, the bad side,
right?
So I feel like seeing that is almost like not better, but you like for the right person and like the right like mental strength, it definitely gives you mental strength. So I feel
definitely,
like that's
bro. That's why I was stressing the mental so much, because it's like if you have a weak mind, your mind is the only thing you really have control of. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Say like, God forbid, like you're paralyzed. You can't control anything else. You could think. You still you're still aware of what's going on, even if you can't. The outside people can't see what you're doing. You can think. Like your mind is alive. As long as you're alive, your mind is alive. Yeah. And a lot of people, they get influenced easily. That's the worst type of people to be around because they don't have any control over their own mind. Yeah. So it's like they're willing to do whatever to be cool, to be accepted, to find their identity. And none of them find their identity in Christ. They usually find it in music that they listen to, the people they hang around, what they're influenced by. And that could lead to a lot of negative things that they will regret. And like I said, I value time. And how you were saying with your dad, you do stuff on the spot. Like the same thing with my father. He was like, there's no tomorrow. Like soon as 12 o'clock hits, it's today. So there is no such thing as tomorrow. You waiting on everything. And he was just kind of letting me know not to live in the past or the present. I mean, not the present, but the future. Yeah. Because living in the future, like you're gonna be anxious. And living in the past, you're gonna hold on to everything, all the mistakes, the like. everything bad, everything negative that, you know, you did already, it's done. Yeah. So, like, you can't go back on that. So, you know, just focus on the present, live in the present. It's just great. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the present, the word itself is a gift. It's a gift to be alive today in this time, like, you know, being able to speak. So, you know, any of us could have been, like, born with a bacteria that took away our eyesight off birth. But, you know, we hear, we seeing, we're verbalizing, you know, we got visions, we able to think clearly. You know, it's people with, like, crazy disabilities that prevent them from doing all those things that would have probably been the most successful people in the world. Yeah. But that just wasn't God's plan for their life. So being that we got that opportunity to, you know, execute on all of that and use all of our resources, it's like a crazy gift. And I try not to take advantage of it. You know, I have my days and my moments where I'm not superly motivated, but I got trained over time to work off discipline and not motivation. So I'm always going to be able to do it regardless if I feel like it or not, because it has to be done. Nobody else is going to do it. So I'm like, I got to get it done. I got to reach out to these celebrities. I got to reach out to these influencers. I got to go out here and network in Atlanta with these YouTubers and these TikTokers and all of these things that could feed into my business and help it grow. Like, I got to do this. If I don't, it's not going to get done. So I'm like, and I wouldn't even hire anybody to do that. I feel like being hands-on with my business makes it my business. Yeah. So it's what separates it from the rest. And I wouldn't tell anybody that is working under me to do anything I wouldn't do. So, you know, I try to steer good business, and I want to provide opportunities for other people to, you know, leverage off of that and build their own personal, you know, portfolios and stuff off of work they've done with me. Be it with that, like, that's helping somebody, you know, create a whole nother, like, visionary on their dreams, goals, and aspirations, putting them in position to, you know, execute on that. And not everybody's going to do it. Some people are content and comfortable with working in the same place for years, but nah, that's not the move.
I like how conscious you are of the way you live. You mentioned generational curses earlier, and I feel like this generation is they're so focused on themselves, and every decision they make is so selfish, and they don't realize that every single action they take doesn't just affect them, doesn't just affect their wife or their kids. It affects your kids. Domino effect. Yeah, you see families in the Bible that nations that are still cursed today from men we know about in the Word of God. Yeah. So I like how conscious you are of the decisions you make, and you're very aware that you're affecting generations years to come.
Right. That's everything ties back to God. You know, being spiritually aware, mentally aware of your surroundings and the people that you're speaking to. Definitely would play a part in everything, because if you're able to think, you can do a lot. Just so I'm like, bro, like, if your brain is the only thing you have control of, take full advantage of that, use it to your best abilities, use it for good, and, you know, it'll all come back to you tenfold. Like, you know, it'll be like, you know, you reap what you sow. So, you know, whatever you're putting out there, it'll come back eventually. So, you know, not living life with regrets, like, you know, not living in the past, like I said, not living in the future, just doing what I got to do, tunnel vision, and not even making a New Year's resolution, just doing what I've always been doing, but better. Like, I always say that I don't have a prime. I'll never have a prime. I'm just going to get better every year to the day I die. Like, whatever I can do to put myself in a better position or others, I'm going to do it. I'd rather be able to say I made 20 people on my team $100K each than say I made $1 million by myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. When do you think you kind of started having this urgency to go out there to these events, network? Just going back to what you were talking about before, like, when did this kind of start unfolding? Like, where you're like, oh, I gotta, like, lock in, whatever you're doing. I started understanding the importance of, like, not talking to only people that you know, because it's like it's kind of, it makes you, like, stagnant. Like, you get so comfortable to talking to these same group of people, and, you know, it's not bad. It's just not good for the long run, because when you get plenty of different ideas and you get to kind of build yourself, like, make your own character to the world. Like, you get to show them, oh, this is really me. This is how I am. It's like you got to do something that makes them even want to care about who you are in general from the start. So that's when I started. I used the graphic designs to get myself in the door with different things, and being that I did that, it led to doors to start doing events or tagging along with events that other people were doing, or attending those events.
And I was like, if you was asking me maybe 2 years ago, I was so against the idea of even putting on a suit at all. I was like, bro, like, what I feel like wearing a suit, bro? Like, I don't even look like the type of guy to wear a suit. Like, it's like, bro, like, it's so neat. And I was just like so caught up in the idea of what other people would think if I was to make that big, leap of faith, that big step forward in opportunity and career. And when I started making a lot of decisions for myself and not others, I started seeing a lot more success in what I did because it was me. Like, they liked it because it was me. It's like, not because of what it was necessarily, but because it was me. Like, that's how I was doing it. I was up until like 4 a.m. making my own clothing with the heat press. I was ordering the puff print off Amazon, and then I would go to school 6 a.m. sharp every day with no excuses. Like, that little bit of time I had to sleep, I slept. Of course, I wasn't, I kept my all A's too, because my dad, he was not going to let that slide. So, my mom, she wasn't either, but it's different when your dad telling you, like, as a man, those morals and the importance of doing what you have to do regardless of the situation, regardless of how you feel, regardless of where you're at, you got to get it done. So, like, I was like, that's my main thing. High school, I kind of treated high school like a business. I had people doing my notes for me, my work. I was assigned, I would use the first week to scope out the room and observe how everybody spoke, and I would see who would stick out the most. And after that first week trial, I'd be like, we're working together. Nice doing business with you for the rest of the year. I'm like, bro, like, because they're good at what they do. So, like, I'd rather use their talent to my advantage than stress about schoolwork every day. So, I maintained a 3.9 GPA without barely doing any work. I wouldn't tell anybody else to do that, because that's crazy. But I had to do what I had to do. Like, it was either my business or school. I knew I wasn't going to college, so I was really not. I didn't really care about school itself. I was more so using the students, using the fact that I was in the building with thousands of people, my age group, every day, that I could sell what I want to sell to them, and they'll get it, they'll give into it. Like, it's a big networking hole every day that I have to go to, so I might as well use it to my advantage. Being in the halls, bringing orders to school in the morning, packaging them up, selling them to even the teachers, like the teachers' kids, and the security guards' kids. It was so, like, understanding on my vision and what I was going towards, and they seen me pick up success in it, and I started utilizing my environment. If I have to be in this place every day, trapped for 7 hours with thousands of kids in my age group that like the same things that I like, I might as well try to sell them something other than snacks. And they liked wearing it, all winter. For a year straight, even after with no promo, I was seeing people wearing it still the following year and for their first day of school fits and stuff like that. So clothing I kind of utilized too, and like all back to graphic design, I was able to design my own clothes, so I didn't have to outsource anything. I was kind of like a one in-house type of, for whatever I did. I can do this myself. I can do this myself. I want to learn hands-on how to do it. So by the time I'm at a certain level where I don't have to do it, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and how to tell them what to do, or how to, explain my vision to other people. But that's pretty much what I use.
So, like, No, I was gonna say, so you started at 12, and then at 15 you started your business, and then you turned 18, you opened your LLC. But like, what are the time stamps? Like, when did you start seeing some traction? When did you start giving these kids the clothes? When did you see some progress? Because I know for some people it's not overnight, right?
Yeah, definitely not. So actually, I was born here in Jacksonville, but I left at 6 to Dallas, and in Texas I was moving around so much. We weren't even in the military. My mom just liked moving, so I just was always the new kid, and wherever I went, I was at like so many different elementary schools, high schools, middle schools. So that kind of trained me to be able to like not be shy. Like, I had to do what I had to do. Like, I'd be like, okay, I would look and I would study the school building itself. I'm like, okay, where are these kids' minds drawn to the most? Athletes, okay, I'm finna play sports. That's how I'm gonna get known. And I would use that to my advantage, and then I would just stop playing sports. I would drop it out of nowhere, and I'd be like, okay, I got a good amount of people that know me now. Now, what can I do with this audience? How can I use this to leverage myself and create a name for myself that won't go away, that's not in the bad narrative? And then that's pretty much how I thought about every single school that I went to. And after middle school, I wasn't thinking like this in middle school. I was just kind of you know, I was avoiding the whole peer pressure thing in middle school. You know, when people are starting to find themselves and find their crowds, how they fit in. Yeah. I was the type of person to fit in with everybody. Like, I could sit at whatever lunch table, talk to whatever kid from whatever background, and connect with them on a like farther level than just school. Like, these are actually real people. Like, they have ideas. You know, they have, you know, creative goals and aspirations just like anybody else. So like, I wasn't the type to, oh, I'm gonna hang with the popular kids. I was like the type to be accepted by wherever I was for who I was, and accept others the same exact way. That's how I kind of like did that. So like, as far as the timestamp of how I like started seeing, you know, like that spark in business and just notice in general, I didn't see it for a while, honestly. Like, it took me a minute, but that was my fire to keep going. Of course. Like, you know, I didn't see any results, but that's what made me want to see results. Yeah. Like, a lot of people just let's drop it. They be like, bro, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now. I'm lit, bro. There's nobody looking at my stuff. Like, I'm gonna find something else to do. Like, no, I was like laser focused. Like, I already had the talent of art. So I was like, bro, this is what I want to do. I've been drawing since I was 2, bro. Like this is what I want to do. It got to a point where they didn't even let me take art class anymore. Yeah. It was like, bro, you just showing out now. Like, go to the gym, bro. Get another credit. I'm like, bro.
I like that you say that, because I feel like nowadays people have such a lack for grit. Like, they're able to just keep going, keep pushing, regardless of not seeing results. I think we're a lot. Yeah, it does take a lot of. People are just so used to seeing this overnight success stories online, and they don't realize that, you know, it takes hours of discipline, hours of work behind the scenes to really get it done. So like they say that they didn't get results, but what pushed you to, you know, do better was just want to see results. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, you know, I was just goal driven. I'm like, bro, my parents, bro, they're only getting older. Like, I want to be able to do this before. I want them to see what I'm doing. I want them to be here and witness like the product of what they made, and the fact that it was so rare for them to even meet. Like, my dad was born in Berlin, Germany, and my mom was born in Houston, Texas. So the odds of that even happening was already close, slim to none. Yeah. So like, he came here to America not even knowing English. He had to learn English. You know, he went through all of his phases and moving around different states, because he was actually for my grandfather, you know, he was actually like in the military. So that's how he ended up being born there, and he spoke that language fluently. So it's like super crazy from coming from a different part of the world to America. Like, them two meeting was already crazy. Like, those odds were already slim to none. So from the beginning, I was like, yeah, God, you had a purpose for what you were doing. Whatever you connected the dots across the world, and, you know, being that they're like-minded individuals and chose to work together and chose to have that entrepreneurial mindset to install into me at an early age, and to how they raised me, it's like crazy. He gave them their own struggles and backstories that motivated them to want to give me the best that they could possibly do, which is every parent's, well, I would assume that's every parent's, like, you know, dream for their child. So, you know, I'm like, yeah, being that he was military, that's why he made me do all those workouts and stuff.
That makes sense,
yeah, so it was more of a mental thing, and knowing that I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it anyways, because of the consequences of my own actions, made me like, you know, get into my character development a little bit easier. Well, it was harder, but it was easier, as in I wouldn't have to learn certain lessons from the outside world that I, you know, didn't get a chance to learn in the house, you know, with my own people.
Of course.
So I definitely like that experience. Just, you know, coming up with them. I learned a lot of stuff from my mom that I couldn't learn from my dad, vice versa. So I feel like having both parents in your life is definitely, you know, it's like important, I'll say.
Yeah, I'm a very big advocate for both, like, 2-parent households. Yeah. You know, male and female.
Right.
You know, in specifics. But have you, like, working with a lot of, you know, individuals, especially like people that are known influencers.
Yeah.
Is it, how do I say this? How do you is it kind of like hard when you guys have different vision? Do they kind of give you creative vision? Has there ever been a point where they're like, well, like, I want it this way, and you're like, well, like, I have a better vision, but yeah, like, how do you work with that?
Usually, I like, before I've taken a risk. I've taken a risk with that before. I had them explain to me how they want a project one way, but I've done it my own way, and they was like, this is way better. Like, I should have thought of this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. Like, you know, I'm here to give you my ideas to help you become a better you, not to let you use your ideas and help and let you be comfortable in your own ways when there's so much more. You could be expanding your whole idea, your whole way of business. But because, you know, it takes for people not to be yes men, for people to want to leverage and reach their full potential. Because having those people around you is really bad for business, bad for any aspect of life, I feel like, because they're going to tell you there is no right from wrong. You're right, regardless of whatever you do, I'm here. That's good for that support, but they're not giving you constructive criticism, which is why another reason why I started the agency, for people to have an opportunity to come together as a group, as creatives, to bounce off each other's ideas and tell each other, hey, you could have did better on this color grading on this photo shoot over here, or you could have, you know, you could have used a different type of lens for this, you know, you could have did this, or you could have, or for my designers, you know, you could have used a different software. I would prefer this software for you because your creative style is unique. Like, I like them to be able to bounce off each other and, you know, come together with different ideas for the same goals. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I bumped heads with influencers and stuff like that over that type of thing, but for the better, not, you know, beefing or whatever. Like, you know, it's for them, it's for their good. So once you earn that customer and clientele trust that you're working for their good and not your own, and you pretty much good. You solid to, like, you selling yourself. That in itself is going to make them want to work with you, because they're like, yeah, I know he's going to make sure I'm leaving with the best product I can possible before I walk out of here.
And how's that been? Has there been anyone that almost has like a persona, and then that you see them in person, they're completely different, or like has there been people like that, or
like
they're usually how they are? Sorry?
Like as far as celebrities or like influencers?
Yeah, like influencers that you've worked with. Have there been like people where they're like different on camera, and then like off camera they're like either like way more chill or like kind of like a douche? Or don't call them out, and if it's a bad way, but if it's a good way, like, has there been people that have surprised you in that way?
I would say there have. I wouldn't say they act like completely different. Like, I would be so surprised, like, when you're listening to these artists and these rappers and stuff like that, you'll think they act like how they are in their songs. So that's pretty much a good way. I won't like single them out or anything like that, but I would say in general, like, you know, they rap about a lot of different things. They're like super hype, super pumped, but in the studio they kind of chill. You know, they like regular people. So I'm like, bro, like, it's no reason for me to be nervous, bro. They just like me. They're just, the only thing that separates us is, of course, the influence they have and the position they're in as far as financially, all that other good stuff, the networking, the connections. But like, at the end of the day, we all human. We all bleed the same. I don't, you know, look at them as some god or anything. I look at them as equal, but I understand that we aren't equal in a lot of aspects of life. And so I'm willing to, you know, look up to whatever they have going on to, you know, take the good stuff out for myself. And, you know, that's another thing I'll say. Like, when people are easily influenced, they look at their favorite artist and they're like, I'm listening to whatever he says. Like, I'm gonna do this. He's rich. He's rich, bro. Like, he's rich, bro. Whatever he says, I'm pretty sure it's good, right? I mean, look at him. But like, no, like, a lot of the stuff they say or they preach about, I will nitpick at. Okay, this is a good point of view. I'll take this and I'll apply it accordingly. But I won't be like, oh no, sip lean, hang with gangs. Like, these gangs are your brothers or whatever, and they're gonna hold you down forever, ride or die. And usually that's not always the case. You see how these trials go, and you know, you see how these different situations play out in the streets, and it's like, it's nothing good in the streets left. It's clear that they're seeing that these people that they look up to, yes, they're wealthy and they're successful in what they do, but not all the decisions that they make are correct. Which is, nobody's perfect. But if you're going to be influenced, at least try to do it to an extent to where you're your own person still. You're not, you know, living your life based off of somebody else's understanding or based off of what they say just because of where they're at in life, because you don't know how they got there. They could, you know, everybody struggled, everybody's come from somewhere, but, you know, you know what they've done in their lives and how they came up and what they've done behind the scenes off camera. Like, it could have been something grimy, it could have been something that was really unclean, really unprofessional in a way that they did it. And if you're influenced by those type of things, to each his own. But I would encourage everybody to be your own person. It's the best thing you can do. Yeah. And live for yourself. You know?
And how do you deal with like unprofessionalism, or do you have any like story like that where you're like they either don't pay or like either do you deal with that a lot, like with influencers or anyone like that?
I have had some encounters with YouTubers that want a high quality product but don't want to pay the high quality fee.
Yeah.
But like you're getting paid off YouTube. What do you mean you don't want to pay the high quality fee? You want the best product, right? You want to stand out. But some of them are, you know, they have budgets, which is understandable. You know, maybe YouTube is the only source of income. Maybe, you know, maybe everybody has different situations. You know, everything is not as always as it seems on camera. So I've had those situations where, like, you know, they would not want to pay for it, or they would try to talk the price down. And I'm like, I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm like, maybe you are getting over on me, but because you did produce me a good amount of exposure, I'm willing to work with you. Like, everything is not always about the money. So I'm like, okay, somebody that you're following is connected to you that is probably willing to pay me 3 times what you pay me, just off of you know, showing me on your platform that, okay, this guy does this. Work with him. You know, he worked with me. He's real. You know, he worked with my budget. And just that alone, like, if some people will turn down great opportunities of a lifetime over $100, like, I'm not that type of guy to just look over the long run and what I could get out of everything, like, of life itself. That's what I kind of look at life as, a bunch of opportunities, you know. So if I feel like it can benefit me in any type of way, I'm willing to do that, because I'm in the learning stage right now. So I'm like, you know, I'm willing to get in these doors, and, you know, they don't have to pay me $10,000 to go want to learn something that I should want to know already. You know, I would like to be in those rooms and, you know, listen. I don't want to go in there and just be like the smartest person in the room, because you're in the wrong room. So I'd rather just, you know, just use my 2 ears to be fully observant and aware of my surroundings wherever I'm at, and, you know, learn as much as I can. So me learning those lessons led me to know that when I'm working with those influencers that, you know, don't want to pay top dollar all the time for the best quality work, or they're just, you know, not willing to work with you on certain things, or don't want to pay at all, but, you know, they got a certain level of influence on their community, which can bring you 100 clients, but you said no to them based off of one transaction. So I believe that your time is valuable. You know, I believe in, you know, getting paid for what you're worth, but everybody's not the best of the best. So, you know, working your way up to there means you have to take those sacrifices, and, you know, not being confiscated sometimes, or, you know, not being able to do business the way you want to. And, you know, making those sacrifices, making those decisions upon yourself is all a mental thing. It all comes down to the individual themselves, if they want to go through with it or not. But me, I was always the type of guy to, you know, work with whoever, however I can. Like, if I can provide any type of value in whatever room I'm in, if I can provide whatever type of value in whatever room I'm in, I'm like, you know, I'm doing it. I'll take that opportunity.
It's interesting how heavy you focus on, how do you forgot the word?
Like relationships, or
on relationships with other people, and putting yourself out there, because I almost find it difficult. They kind of know this, like you mentioned in high school. I also could, I just talk to anybody. There's no one I tried to, like, quote unquote, stay away from or get closer to because of popularity or anything like that. But as of now, it's almost very difficult for me to try and network with people that I don't like. And I don't particularly hate anyone, but if it's just a person with morals that, not that they just don't necessarily align with mine, but it's just a person that I see trying to almost, like, put a false image of themselves in front of people or act a certain way, it's very difficult for me to try and be with them just because of the money they have or something like that. Like, I like being with people that I like being with, even if it might deter me a little bit in climbing the ladder and getting to places. I like being with who I like being with.
Right. I that's respectable, you know, for sure. I had to struggle with that a lot. Like, it was a lot of stuff that I was not okay with, that I had to be around in order to get to where I needed to get. I had to make those sacrifices of my own comfortability and my own comfort zone to get to another level. I'm like, bruh, like, I'm tired of doing this every day. I'm tired of just, like, I'm just tired, you know. I'm like, bruh, but if I don't, it's going to be way harder. It's going to take me a lot longer. So I'd rather be able to say I went through these hardships and these hard times to be able to explain those like scenarios to other people that have similar aspirations. Like it's just like you gotta go through it. That's how I look at it. Like, yeah, I may not like this process. I may not want to be out here with these people all day just because they have money or just because of who they are. I may not want to do that. I might not want to spend my whole day with them. I might want to go do something else or be with my friends, my homeboys, hoop or whatever. But, you know, I took that sacrifice those times. It's a lot of time. Your time is valuable, but I'd rather spend it doing something that I know will benefit me in the long run. I wouldn't be around those type of people for any reason. Like, it had to be some sort of value trade. Like, I'm providing my time and value and my skill and my ideas to you, and you're providing your money, your resources, your connections, and your visions to me as well. So being that we mix both of those together, because a lot of people have a lot of money with no ideas and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So being able to be an asset to wherever I'm at and not a liability makes those type of people, you know, attracted to you, like as an individual, as a businessman, you know, as whatever. And that goes a long way with building relationships. Like I said, don't mix business and personal because it can get crazy with emotions involved. But being genuine all the time is having that genuine relationship. It makes business a lot easier.
That's what I seek for, genuineness. When I just don't feel like someone's being genuine, when I'm meeting them for the first time or something, I'm not going to be a rude person at all. Like, I'll treat them with the most respect. I'll be kind to them, even if they're not being kind to me or whatever it is.
Right.
But I won't, I'm like, okay, this is probably the last time I'm going to intentionally interact with this person. And even if it, like I said before, even if it might deter me a little bit, I just prefer to be with someone that's genuine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's what, like I was telling you about Luke, like, he's like a real genuine dude, and that's what brought us together, like, closely to work together, like, you know, on all the ideas, different ideas that we had, and all the stuff that we wanted to act on. You know, being that he was genuine made our work a lot smoother. I just rather use that as an example because, you know, it's somebody that you might be familiar with. So, you know, that was, you know, definitely smooth, and he was like sort of mentoring me in a way. So, yeah, that definitely helps too, having like-minded people or people that are doing better than you around you all the time, 24/7. Could mold your mind to levels that you probably never even thought you could get on or that were accessible. So, yeah, it's like, you know, and he was telling me, like, on the come up of what I'm doing, the problem is not that, like, I'm looking at him buy all these things, these crazy cars and stuff like that, and make these connections with these NFL players. I'm like, bro, like, I'm trying to get like that. Like, and he's like, bro, the problem is not that it's too expensive. The problem is that you're not making enough money. So I'm like, dang, how can I put myself in a position to make enough money? Because by that time, it's not going to feel like the expenses don't feel the same when you're at the top versus when you're at the bottom. So I'm like, dang, that's a crazy way to put it. Like, it's like I got to reach a certain level to get what I want, not want what I want and try to work my way up with what I already have. Like, well, yeah, you have to go with whatever you have, but it's like not wanting too high and try to get that high when you're at a low. Like, kind of living within your means. So it's like, bro, but I'm trying to live like 10 times my means right now, today. I'm trying to wake up tomorrow with $1 million. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, but he's like, you know, it's going to come. It's going to come. The timing, the placement, the people you're around, you're doing the right thing. You're getting into these rooms and you're making yourself known. You're making a name for yourself. You're building a personal brand. Yeah. And your digital footprint is something that will never go away. So this interview, probably 10 years down the line, hopefully when I'm in a crazier position, it's going to be here forever. They're going to go back to that. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to look at the future of me and just direct the audience towards this podcast and be like, dang, like, I was right. I said this.
Yeah, I love how you're a very optimistic person. I've noticed that just the way you've been talking, you kind of see the best in everything, in every situation that you've been put under. Yeah. And I think that's a very, like, great trait that you have, because, like he said, like, we're very much alike. Like, we'll be very kind, or I'll put up with the person, but I wouldn't, like, associate myself around them if it's just not, you know, if it doesn't align with what I, like, agree with or anything like that. Maybe I could be wrong, but I love how you definitely see the best in people and in every situation. I think that's an amazing. Yeah. But kind of almost wrap it up a bit. What do you tell? How do you what do you tell somebody trying to grow in social media, in what you're doing, graphic designing, kind of the area or the niche that you work in? What do you tell somebody that's younger or around the same age, if not older, trying to get into what you're doing?
I would tell them, like, you know, everybody's going to say stay in school and all this, but I would say, like, on a realistic level, from my like, thought process specifically, I would say, everybody's going to say it too, but consistency, like, that's the hardest thing, and it takes discipline to have consistency. So if you're only running off straight motivation, it's gonna run out. You're not gonna wake up at 3 a.m. every day and want to do what you have to do. But if you're dedicated to it and you do have the discipline to do so, it'll work out. You know, you're dedicated to that, and you're like doing it every single day. Like if you do it every single day and you don't miss a day, and you're like, whatever happens, like, I'm doing it. I got to get something done. I got to do something. Make a step forward. You know, making progress. I'll say that too, like keeping track of your progress and trusting the process of your progress, you know. And, you know, I'd like to think like doing things when you do it, like when you think about it, like acting on things as soon as you can. Because, you know, people that act on things quick tend to be more successful because they are doing it. So it's like, I have like these influencers that I'm really close with, and we were on FaceTime one day, and they were like, I was like, bro, yeah, I'm proud of y'all boys. Y'all doing what y'all doing. You know, y'all making a difference. You know, we're growing up together, and y'all actually making an impact. Y'all have an influence now, like an audience. And they're like, yeah, this is good, bro. We're doing it as a group. We're doing good. We're leveraging, but we respect you because you're doing it by yourself. Like, you're acting on it, and you're doing it by yourself. Like, you putting yourself in position to be in a better position than you were before or yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, that's respectable. Like, and you're like, that's crazy. Like, dude, like, we got a lot of ideas, but you're like acting on your ideas, like, regardless. You're not letting nothing stop nothing. Like, even if you had $0 to your name today, you're gonna find a way to get yourself in the door to make way more than that the next day, or help somebody else make more than that. And that'll eventually help you as well. That's why I believe in, you know, building a good network and keeping a good group of people around you. You know, and I would say, like I said, I would say to them not to just base everything off money, because it takes a lot of the genuineness out of a lot of aspects and relationships you have with different people. And the last thing people want to feel is used. So definitely make sure that you emphasizing on the fact that you're bringing the most value that you possibly can, and that you plan on adding to value to them as well, because then that value exchange could change your life forever. You never know. And that's why I really admire Kai Cenat for that, because he, you know, I admire what he's doing, because I've seen how he is, like how he's putting different people in position. Because when you get in a certain position where you can build careers for others, I feel like that's a crazy level of power that I feel like he's using the right way. So that's something I would look towards, or I'll study like how he does it. And yeah, like I just feel like when you get in that certain position, you know, God's helping you and when God's helping you get in a position to put others in position, I feel like that's the best thing ever. Like, it's the best feeling ever. Like, dang, I get to change this person's life forever, all because I took the risk and trusted God throughout the process. Like, that'll make me feel a lot better than saying I made it. We made it. Yeah. That's another thing I say. Like, yeah, that teamwork, bro. That teamwork, having a group of dedicated people is like the hardest thing ever. So that's what I would tell people on the way up. And I think of, like I said, doing things fast, doing things now, because now is one backwards. So, like, you can win if you act on it now. You do it now, you good. You're set for life. Even if you're not set for life, you setting yourself up in a position to be set for life. So the whole thought process of it is to work your way up, and to make progress. That's what I would say.
Well, we just wanted to tell you we're very appreciative for you doing this. We're not big. You didn't have to do this. You wanted to come on here, and like, we're very, very grateful. You're a very genuine and honest person. We love talking to you. So I wanted to thank you publicly, and obviously. So thank you very much for coming on. You didn't have to do this. He's not being paid. Nothing. So thank you to Jayso. We'll have everything for him in the description. Thank you to PSG. I don't know if Isael or David, you guys want to say anything?
Thank you to PSG. If you want rap or Tint, wherever you are, Jacksonville, Florida, doesn't matter what state you're in, bring your car here. It'll be worth it. And that's all I have to say for that.
David?
Nothing much. I got nothing to add. Thank you so much, like Kenneth said, Jayso. guess we'll see you in the next episode.
Appreciate it. All right. Is that a wrap, John?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bro, thanks so much, dude.